Hi guys, so today we're going to make sourdough bread. I picked to make cheddar jalapeno this time because throughout all of quarantine I've just been making your basic whole wheat sourdough bread, which is really tasty, but I just wanted to try some flavors. So to start a sourdough bread, you have to have a sourdough starter, and I will go through steps of how to make a sourdough starter with you guys. The night before you mix your dough, you're going to take your starter and you're going to discard about a tablespoon of the starter itself, and then you're going to add 200 grams of warm water, and then you're going to add 200 grams of flour, 100 of it being the bread flour, and then the other 100 being the whole wheat flour. And then you're going to let it sit overnight in a warm area, and this is called the levain. It's okay if it looks a little crusty. To start mixing the dough, you're going to take 700 grams of warm water. It's okay if it's a little bit over. And then you are going to take 200 grams of the levain. So the levain is added into the water. I mix it up just a little bit. And then this leftover is gonna be the starter that you're going to keep feeding to make more bread later. So the ratio for this is going to be 900 grams of bread flour and then 100 grams of whole wheat flour. Once the dough is mixed and looks like this, we are going to let it sit for about a half an hour in a warm area, and then we're going to come back and add salt and water. So after 30 minutes, you're going to add 20 grams of salt, and 50 grams of warm water. Oops, it's okay if it's more. I like it kind of hydrated. And then you are just gonna do pinching motions. So you're just gonna pinch until the salt and the water is combined and in the dough. I just like to fold the edges as well, just to get it into a nice round ball. Once it's all combined, we're gonna let it sit for 30 minutes, and then we're gonna start folding. And we're gonna do a folding process of like 6 to 7 hours, folding every half an hour until the end, because we don't want to hit out all the bubbles. So every 30 minutes, you're going to fold your dough. You're just gonna take it and kind of pull on it like that. You're gonna turn it around. You're gonna pull on it again. You're gonna do every side. So you're gonna do this every 30 minutes for about 6 to 7 hours, depending on how it looks and how warm the room is. So this is after the first fold, and you can tell on the surface that there's a little bit of bubbles, which is good. We are going to add 8 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese, and this is 4 sliced jalapenos. We're just gonna fold it in to incorporate it, so I'm just gonna throw it all in. and then we're gonna mix it up. Once it's all mixed, it's gonna look like this. Most of the cheddar and jalapeno are in the middle, but whenever we go to fold it in 30 minutes, it's just gonna distribute. So my apartment is not very warm, and I have this heater set up specifically for my bread. And if you look, you can already see a little bubble right there, which is definitely good. And then we're gonna give it the fold right now. The dough feels kind of cold, so I know it has a long ways to go. So it's been about 6 hours, and the dough, you can see the little bubbles that it has. Depending on the dough, sometimes the bubbles are a lot bigger, but it's grown a lot and it's fairly warm. So we are going to go ahead and shape it. So you're gonna lightly flour your surface, and sourdough bread is fairly sticky because we did about a 75% hydration. And I'm not super used to mixing it yet, so I put quite a bit of flour. The recipe that we did together is a 2-loaf recipe. So we're just going to divide this right in half. And then what we want to do is shape them and let them bench rest. So I'm gonna just get it into a circle like that. You just kind of want it to look like a circle, and you don't want it to be too tight because you don't want to knock out all of the air. And this is a metal bench scraper, and it will help you a lot throughout this process. So this is the bread basket that we are going to use. So you just want to flour it lightly. You can flour it pretty heavy, actually, because you don't want the dough to stick in here whenever you go to flip it out tomorrow when we bake. And I don't have another one right now, so I'm just going to use a pan and flour it heavily, but honestly, it still sticks regardless. So we kind of just have to let this one be ugly, but it still tastes really good. So we're going to let these bench sit for about 30 minutes. All right, so this one's spread out quite a bit, so I'm just gonna flip it. And then I am going to stitch it up just like that. Try to keep the air bubbles intact. Just like that. And stitch it again. It kind of looks like a loaf shape. That's what you want. And then we're going to take it and put it into this basket with the stitch side up. So when we flip it tomorrow to bake it. There we are. I'm going to cover it, and then I'm going to set it in the fridge overnight, and then I'll pull it out tomorrow and bake it with you guys.